How much should leads cost for roofing contractors? Juicy subject, $1 million question. Everybody wants to know about it. Let's get into it. So first of all, let's do a criteria. I'll talk about from least expensive to probably most expensive, starting off with the big boys, our favorite companies out there. Angie's, Home Advisor, CraftShack, Modernize, Networks. I mean, there's a lot, right? We can talk about them first, then we'll get into some social media. I think that's where a big bulk of energy is nowadays in terms of number of kids with agencies reaching out to roofers on a daily basis. They're all doing Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and then as we get more higher up in cost, that's when we get into Google ads, phone calls that are exclusive, and the whole world in that sector. All right, so let's begin. First and foremost, Home Advisor, Angie's. I'll start with them because I think even within the bunch that we see, like Networks and stuff like that, Home Advisor and Angie's is probably the lower quality ones. None of the shared leads is high quality. That's why they're in the bottom of the quality spectrum, just so you know. It's like, I'll give Home Advisor and Angie maybe like in a 1 out of 10. Maybe Networks maybe a 2 out of 10, slightly better. They may be shared with 3 people instead of 7 or 8 people. But they have a place. There's a reason why Home Advisor is a $1 billion company, because people use them. A lot of companies that are especially starting out, they can make it work, right? Especially if your overhead is so small. You're the one-man show. You got a truck and a hammer. You can make Home Advisor work. If you can speak, you can sell, you can compete with other people. You don't mind going to a home and there's another guy already waiting, to get in line and stuff like that. It can be rough, that lifestyle. That's why a lot of people, complain about Home Advisors and stuff like that. But it does work. It does get the ball rolling, right? It does get your business going, and it's immediate, it's fast, and you're getting things that you call leads, and some of them can work. Pricing in this range, I think currently it's between 70 and 200. And the big variance is because, they also have what they call, I think, exclusive or like branded people who are searching directly for you. And, that comes through to them that they charge more for versus their typical one, the leads one that gets shared with multiple people, right? If you're a company under, let's say, 3-4 jobs a week and you're not doing that consistently, then these kind of services, we actually recommend it, right? Maybe try a few. The cost to try them out is very low, and the gain you can have is actually high in the sense that not that annoying to deal with. It's just that you get to work out your processes, get your sales really in order. If you can sell those leads, then it kind of grooms you to be able to sell against 5-7 other people. And if you can win bids more consistently, it's because you're just a better salesman at that level. And I'll explain what I mean, in a second with that last part. Having that said, usually what we see is that companies, when they start to scale a little bit, they realize that they just can't really scale with those kind of leads a lot of times, right? Maybe in insurance markets, it can work out because depending on how you're doing supplementing and stuff like that, the claim can be high and whatnot. But what we tend to see, especially for retail, is that charge premium prices when you are bidding against 5-7 other people that are bombarding that customer and giving them bids and stuff, right? It's like, it's kind of like very difficult. Like, how do you charge double and then, what other guys are charging and still win the bid? Like, what are you exactly doing? Anyways, that's when people want to move up. It really is becomes a constraint in the business because the economics start to not make sense. It just keeps you in that chain and at that level, making whatever, maybe an average like $3,000, $2,000 to $3,000 per roof, which many times is not enough money to be able to scale the company. Then what they get into is usually we see, individual marketing. They want to now grow their brand, do SEO, website stuff, whatnot, maybe try out social media. And nowadays we see social media is a little bit more common, right? So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, let's talk about them. Generally, we're seeing leads here for around $30 to $50. And that's just a range depending on how you're doing it. We have seen ones where people really hyper qualify, meaning having like 12, 15 questionnaire that they have to fill out and whatnot. Then it can be a little bit more expensive, $70 to $100, but it's more on the cheaper end, I would say, compared to all the leads. Is it better than Home Advisor and Angie? Yes, because even though the quality of the lead is still not the best in the sense that you are heavily offer based, right? Everybody's screaming, we'll do this, that for you, free roofs, whatever. There's a nationwide program right now that you can get a free roof, hurry up. All this kind of stuff they're trying to do to get those leads to come in. It's at least exclusive, right? It's coming only to you, and it can work out pretty well. The hard thing that happens as you go up this scale is just finding a good company or hiring. It's like the hiring thing, right? Are you gonna get somebody else to do this? Are you gonna learn this yourself? Are you gonna hire an agency? These things become more tough, right? Because most agencies can't really do it. And usually what happens is that you spilling out the money to attempt to find a good agency and giving yourself the patience as a business owner so you don't get frustrated and give up and go back to HomeAdvisor land is difficult. And many times what people find that it takes is they just probably just give up, in the sense that, okay, I get it. Every year, I'm going to have to spend some money just to test some agencies. Whatever the mindset they get into. I'm just only saying that because a lot of the people who did figure it out, they didn't figure out on their first attempt. They had to go through a few people until they learn, like, okay, all right, I got to really vet them out, or whatever it looks like. Once you get it though, it can work out pretty well, especially in insurance markets, right? Hailstorm markets, Facebook, Instagram, these kind of, the strategies, if you know what you're doing, it can work out really, really well. Where it becomes less successful is probably retail, right? Retail, where you're in an area where you're, you really have to sell them, right? They're paying you cash, they're paying you financing. We have found that getting social media to work on those places is a little bit more tougher. Now, let's go one level up from here. Before I even go into exclusive phone calls and stuff, let's talk about two common things that we see, and that is door knocking and direct mail. Door knocking is a pretty interesting one to me because it's still one of the highest performing way to generate business till date in 2024, right? We still have clients, even after everything that happened in COVID or whatever, they came back and they still crush it with door to door. So it's actually like, for any marketer to say that it's, you want to stop door knocking stuff, is a technique to get you to feel like there's an easier path at best. What I would say, my 2 cents would be, if somebody's starting a new roofing company, the skills that we would advise to get is one, active lead vendor, and just go with one of the big companies. Even though quality is really bad and it's shared, it's going to teach a lot about the business very quickly, like HomeAdvisor networks, and just use them for a couple of months, right? Until you learn what you got to learn and you become sick of them, then you can graduate really quickly. While you're doing that, I would say door knocking. That's it. These are two things, right? Buying some leads and then door knocking. Door knocking is gonna hone your sales skills like nothing else, and just build you up from the root, where we've seen basically the best salespeople or owners a lot of times that have sales teams under them came from the door knocking world. So there's a lot of knowledge that goes in that becomes muscle memory as somebody who door knocks for an extended period of time that we don't really see anywhere else. Anyways, enough me, showing respect for door knocking. What does it cost? This is where things get interesting because I get such wide variance in numbers. We have some people who really almost think it's free. It's hey, door knocking is the best. It's we're skipping the marketing and going straight to the appointment, right? If you get what I mean, right? There's no and there's an ad, then they fill out a form, then we got a call, and then there's an appointment. There's 3 steps. Door knocking is okay, I seen the damage, I knocked door, and there's the human in front of me. It's very direct. It's pretty much as direct as you can get. You're pretty much in their face. With that being said, a lot of people feel like it's the lowest acquisition cost. Usually these are the people that came from that culture. They're I got my 3-4 guys, and each of them are selling 1 roof a week, and that gets me my 4 or 5 roofs a week, and I'm doing good. I'm doing almost a roof a day, and they make it almost sound easy. Whereas another company who tries it, they can't hire, they can't manage, the people don't show up, they leave, it churns, whatever. And even if they can get somebody to be decently well, then they go to some other company or whatever. It just it doesn't work for them, right? So what I would say, how to consider the cost of door knocking, it's not the actual cost you pay the person for setting that appointment per se. It's the entire thing. How much time does it take out of your week to manage those people? How much time does it take to school them and coach them so they can be better, right? How much time does it take to put post, interview, and then hire, and then train, and then take them so they don't get discouraged, especially early stage, until they're good? All of this is the actual cost. It's not free. It's just that if you're starting out, you're the business owner, you think your time is free, but as you scale, somebody will need to do that at some point. To keep that going, somebody will need to keep that running and do the things you're doing with them. Otherwise, it won't be. And that person, if you were to bring him in, that is the cost of door knocking. We have one big client that we work with in Texas, and they measure everything down to every cost properly, right? It's a $40 million company. And it was interesting. One of the line items was how much water they drink. They got a team of 25 people that sell and door knock and stuff. And they had to even count how much water they're drinking on a daily basis as a line item of expense, because there's so many little things that people don't consider that goes into running this on a day-to-day basis. Gas, water, things go wrong, stuff breaks down. All kinds of things are constantly happening as you scale a door knocking team, and there's you have to really be a leader to keep that momentum going as the sales coach or whatever you title yourself. Then there is direct mail. Now this is where things get interesting, because direct mail we have seen work in 2 ways. One of the best direct mail campaigns we've ever seen was $60 per pretty much, you could say appointment, but it's a phone call. But it was like literally the best phone calls you could pretty much get. It was right after a hailstorm. We worked with this company and they were able to get it within 24 hours in the door, which was like kind of crazy. I don't know exactly how they did that, but like if the hail happened Saturday or something, we worked with them, I think like starting Friday, and Monday or Tuesday, well, it's not actually like then 24 hours. I think it's like 48 hours or something like that, whatever you call it. Like after the weekend, first 1 or 2 days, they had it in the door. And we started getting a bunch of calls and they're all handwritten, like even not just the inside, even the outside, right? Like it's all handwritten and it was customized handwritten. Like we uploaded a sheet and it was like name. So you'd say, hey Jane, I was by, and then it's like their address. It's like handwritten, even their address, because you put their name, address, phone number, and you could use those elements to customize. And the machine would print out all these handwritten ones that are customized by the sheet that you uploaded. If you're following, right? It's like all personalized. Anyways, it would be just like, hey Jane, I was by your house and I noticed something so and so. I wanted to leave this with you because I'm the owner of so and so company, and if you want us to come out, give us a call. And people called. It was such beautiful calls. Even like the best ones were like elderly people. Like, they were like, yeah, I think you came by this morning. Yeah, we have something, that happened last night. If you can come back and, I would like to take a look at, like, and they were just like completely with it, right? Nobody like even realized that like like it's just like an automated, thing. Like they all were like, oh, they thought somebody actually literally walked to them physically and drop these like one by one or something. That was the best one. When we counted how much it cost us divided by how many qualified calls we got, it was like $60 a call. The most successful direct mail campaign we've ever seen. It was percentage wise, it was like 3.2% or something. Meaning for every 100 mailers we sent, we got 3 phone calls. Pretty crazy, because most mailing campaigns can't even crack 1%. This is how the lead cost breaks down. So anyways, long video, but I wanted to break down from most common, lowest quality to all the way up the mid curve. We're using 2 of the common ones, door knocking and direct mail. And lastly, one of the highest quality of leads you can get and the prerequisites that you should have as a business to be able to handle those kind of leads properly.